Hello everybody, Max Convexity here. Let's do a end of the day update on these Defiance high yield option strategy funds. All right, let's look at the chart, and it's not a pretty chart today. All right, first we're going to talk about QQQY. QQQY managers trade NDX options to pay you a yield. So here's what the NDX did today. The profit box is where we needed to be to have a profit. Obviously, we're going to have a loss, a pretty good sized loss, because it's well underneath the profit box. So let's go to the spreadsheet and see what kind of damage was done. Just to recap, the fund manager sold 155 puts at the 16,830 level, strike level. That's making 16,830 the maximum profit. And they got $48 a piece for these options. So that 48.56 minus 16,830 comes out to 16,781. So if they wouldn't have dropped any further than that, they would have had a loss. Of course, they dropped a lot further than that. They dropped down here to 16,554.16. So they had to buy that option back for $275. When you sell something short, when you short something, you sell it first. So they sold this option and they got nearly $50, which is a lot of money. That's the good news. The bad news is the market didn't cooperate and they had to pay $275 to buy the option back. So the difference between 48 and 275 is how much they lost. Anyway, they lost 3.52 million. They were going for 752,000 is what they were going for. That column really doesn't mean anything anymore, but I just had to put it on there so I could still reference it during the day whenever the market was dropping. So we went for 752. We ended up losing 3.5. That's the bad news. The good news is we're still, even after that, we're still earning 46%, give or take. It knocked our daily capture, our capture percentage. This was a big negative capture. We lost 1.38%. That's pretty bad. And it knocked our daily capture down. I think it was 0.24 at the start of the day, which comes out to like 60%, and just this one day knocked it down to 46%. Or knocked down the projected annual yield. There's still some days left in the month. We'll see how we do the rest of the month. Alrighty, let's look over here at SPX. SPX is what JEPY trades. Same story here. It's not a pretty chart. All right, to recap, they sold 217 options at the 47.70 level. That was their strike price. I'm going to make a video on what strike price actually means, probably tonight. But anyway, that was the strike price. They got $9.52 for them, but the market dropped all the way down to this level, 46.9835. So the difference between that number and the strike comes to 71.65. Anyway, that was $1.3 million loser for them. They were going for 206,000, but they ended up losing $1.3 million. They sold this option for 9, and they had to buy it back for 71. That's not a great result for sure, but it's the way it goes sometimes when you trade options. All right, so their capture was a negative 1.36%. And that brings their average daily capture all the way down to 11 100ths, or 11 basis points, and that comes out to about 29% annual projected yield. So we'll see. We still have some more days in the month. We'll see how we end up. Let's look at the Russell. It's going to be the same. It didn't look like it dropped quite as much on a relative basis, but it still dropped enough to be a loss. So IWMY, they sold 255 puts at the 2030 level. So that was their max profit. They got $12. So 12 less 2030 was their minimum profit. We at least needed 2017, but we ended up with 1982.84 by the end of the day. That means we had to buy that option back for 46 points. We sold it for 12. We bought it back for 47 points, excuse me. So the difference accounts for the loss. So that's an $800,000, nearly $900,000 loss. And on a percentage basis, the loss was actually worse than the other two. It's a 1.78% negative capture. So on this one, it knocked this guy gosh darn it. Okay, it knocked this guy all the way down to the projected annual yield this morning was, I believe, 120% or something. Yeah, 126. Anyway, just this one day knocked this baby all the way down to where this thing, if it was paying a dividend today, would probably only pay around 100% dividend. So that's definitely a first world problem to be expecting 120% annual yield and get 100. So we'll see. Like I say, there's more days. One bad day doesn't make a month, but anything can happen. We shall see. And like I said, I had a good time making the video where I explained about options, but the more I explain, the more questions I left open. So I'm going to make another video that tries to tidy up some of that stuff, and we're going to go back to some of the basic concepts like days till expiration, strike price, even what's a call and what's a put. So I'll do that video tonight. I'm looking forward to doing it, and I hope you guys watch it, and I hope it clears up any confusion out there. Thank you very much, and you guys have a great day.